third lecture on synthetic dyes. In the first lecture, we introduced actually what dyes are or what kind of molecules show color, and then we discussed the classification of dyes on the basis of their method of application or on the basis of their chemical composition. In the second lecture, we discussed color and constitution related to various organic molecules. In the second lecture, we discussed Witt's theory, we discussed Quinoid theory and valence bond theory, and also we tried to correlate the nature of molecule, that is chemical composition of molecule, with that of color it shows. But this valence bond theory is not a final word on all the colors associated with a particular composition, and that is why in the present lecture we are going to discuss the remaining theory of color and constitution, which is called molecular orbital theory of color and constitution or the modern theory of color and constitution. We will discuss here the electronic transitions which are associated with different energies, and according to the energy they show or they fall into the visible range and show color. We will also discuss the effect of conjugation on electronic transitions. So, first of all, we will start with molecular orbital theory of color and chemical constitution. Before that, you should first, I think all of you know that light waves in UV and visible region have high energy. When the light waves fall on a compound or a molecule, it gets absorbed and results in three types of excitation in the molecule. These excitations are either electronic or vibrational or rotational in nature. If E1 is the energy in ground state and E2 is the energy of the molecule associated in the excited state, the energy required for excitation, which is delta E, can be equal to h nu. E1 here is the energy of the molecule in ground state and E2 is the energy when it has absorbed light waves and has gone to excited state. The difference in the two energy actually is called the energy of excitation, and it is related to h c upon lambda, or in other words we can say if delta E is a smaller value, then lambda will be a higher value because these two are inversely related, and because of this relation between the energy of excitation and the wavelength of light, that we are going to discuss how a particular molecule having a particular chemical composition shows color. Here in this equation you can see that frequency of light absorbed by a compound is directly related to delta E, and this means that if delta E has a high value, a high frequency is absorbed, which means that the absorption occurs at a shorter wavelength. This should be clear to you that delta E is directly related to or directly proportional to the frequency of light, whereas indirectly proportional to the wavelength of light. Now, if delta E has a lower value, a low frequency of light will be absorbed by the molecule, which means that the absorption occurs at a higher wavelength region in the visible region. Now, according to molecular orbital theory, the excitation of an atom or a molecule involves transfer of electron from orbital of lower energy to orbital of higher energy. The electrons involved may be sigma electrons or pi electrons or n or non-bonding electrons. The lower energy orbitals are bonding molecular orbitals, while the higher energy orbitals are called anti-bonding molecular orbitals. The sigma and pi molecular orbitals are represented by bonding and anti-bonding molecular orbitals, but there is no anti-bonding molecular orbital for non-bonding electrons as they do not form bond. Now, with the help of this representation, I can tell you that these are the positions of bonding sigma molecular orbitals. This is the position for bonding pi molecular orbital, and these two are the positions for sigma antibonding and pi antibonding molecular orbitals. But here you can see this position represents the position for the non-bonding lone pair of electron, and here these non-bonding electrons do not have any anti-bonding molecular orbital. Also, it is important here to note that the energy associated with sigma bonding molecular orbitals is minimum, whereas the energy associated with sigma star is maximum. Or in other words, we can say that if we are able to excite an electron from sigma bond to sigma anti-bonding molecular orbital, then a large amount of energy will be needed, because you have to give this much of energy, then only sigma electron will move over from bonding to anti-bonding orbital, and when they will require that much of energy, they will fall in a very short wavelength. That means the compound will be colorless. On the contrary, if we have a molecule which has a non-bonding lone pair of electron and it passes on to pi antibonding molecular orbital, it requires minimum amount of energy, and then it will fall in the visible range. And with the help of these electronic transitions, we will discuss how a particular molecule shows color whereas the other does not. First of all, we will discuss the molecules where transition of sigma to sigma star molecular orbital take place. The transition in which a sigma bonding electron is excited to anti-bonding sigma star or sigma anti-bonding molecular orbital is called sigma to sigma star transition. This kind of transition is shown by compounds where all the valence electrons are involved in the formation of bond. That is, for example, here it is an example of ethane. In this ethane molecule, you can see that we have 7 covalent bonds, 3 carbon hydrogen bond here, 3 carbon hydrogen bond here, and these 2 electrons representing the 7th carbon carbon covalent bond. Now, when these electrons are excited, this transition is called sigma to sigma star transition, and this transition requires a large amount of energy, and that is why you can understand easily that why this transition requires that much of energy. The reason is that this is a very strong bond. So, to break this bond or to excite the electron from this bond, it requires a large amount of energy, and that is why ethane molecule is colorless in nature, or there is no color associated with ethane molecule or ethane like molecule where all the bonds are covalent bonds. The energy required in these transition is very high, hence they occur at a very short wavelength in UV region. For example, the saturated hydrocarbons. Now, we will discuss another electronic transition where the electron are excited from n orbital to sigma star transition or sigma star or sigma antibonding orbital. The transition in which electron is excited from a non-bonding atomic orbital to a sigma star antibonding orbital is called this n to sigma star transition. Compound having heteroatoms like nitrogen, sulfur or halogen show this kind of transition. The energy required in these transition is low, hence they occur at a longer wavelength than the transition in case of sigma to sigma star, or in other words in case of saturated hydrocarbons. For example, we can take here the example of alkyl halide or alcohol. You can see here in this molecule, this carbon is attached to 3 covalent bonds via hydrogen, and the fourth covalent bond is carbon chlorine bond. Here the excitation is not taking place between this carbon and chlorine electron, but excitation is because of these lone pair of electron which are present in non-bonding orbital of chlorine, and they are excited to sigma star or sigma antibonding orbital, and that is why they are comparatively they require less energy for excitation, and that is why they have a longer wavelength. Compounds of this type also do not show color, because even though they are absorbing less of energy, but they do not fall in the visible region. Now, we will discuss the transition which are taking place between non-bonding molecular orbital to anti-bonding pi orbital. In these transitions, electron is promoted from a non-bonding orbital to a pi anti-bonding orbital. Compounds having double bond between heteroatoms like carbon oxygen double bond or carbon sulfur double bond or nitrogen oxygen double bond show this kind of transition. They require a small energy and take place at a longer wavelength. Here you can see a carbonyl group. We have this non-bonding electron pair which is shifted from non-bonding to the pi star or anti-bonding molecular orbital. Minimum amount of energy is required, and that is why they fall in the higher wavelength region of the spectrum. We will now discuss another electronic transition which is taking place from pi to pi star molecular orbital. The transition in which pi electron is excited to pi star antibonding orbital is called pi to pi star transition. These have relatively higher energy requirement than non-bonding to pi star transitions and occur at a shorter wavelength for simple molecules. We will now discuss pi to pi star transition in case of carbonyl group and in case of ethene molecule. Here you can see that in this molecule, this is carbon oxygen double bond. One bond has been shown here and the other bond actually has been shown in the form of 2 electrons. Now these 2 electrons are present in pi orbital or they form pi bond. Now when transition takes place or when energy is absorbed, one of the electron from pi orbital moves into pi star molecular orbital, and this is represented in the form of the electrons in vertical position. Like here as it is written electron in the anti-bonding pi orbital, and here these electrons are present in bonding pi molecular orbital. Here it is the pi bond in case of ethene molecule or alkene molecule. Here again the 2 electrons shared between the 2 carbon atoms are present in pi molecular orbital, and upon absorption of energy they go or they are excited to pi star or anti-bonding pi molecular orbital. We will now discuss the order of energy difference in various transitions, and as you can see here the transition from sigma to sigma star requires maximum energy and the transition from non-bonding molecular orbital to pi star requires minimum energy. The transition in alkanes are only sigma to sigma star because they contain only carbon hydrogen bond and carbon carbon covalent bond. The energy required in these transition is high and they appear in UV or far UV region. For example, the absorption maximum or lambda max for ethane molecule is at 135 nanometers, which lies in the colorless region, and hence ethane is colorless. In case of ethene, the absorption band is at lambda max 175. The reason for this is that ethene contains one carbon carbon single bond or sigma bond and the other is carbon carbon pi bond. As a result, there are transition due to this sigma to sigma star and pi to pi star, and that is why it requires more energy and that is why it falls in the far UV region. Hence, ethene also is colorless. As compared to ethane, the absorption band in ethene is at a longer wavelength, that is at 175 nanometers. If you remember in the earlier example, we told you that it was only 135 nanometers in case of ethane, and this difference in absorption maximum is because of the presence of carbon carbon double bond in ethene molecule. In case of butadiene, this is the molecule of butadiene, and you can see here that we have 2 carbon carbon double bonds and these 2 carbon carbon double bonds are separated by a single bond. This kind of system we call as conjugated double bond system, and in such kind of system there is possibility of delocalization of electrons. As a result, in case of butadiene, the absorption band appears at 217 nanometers for pi to pi star transition. This is due to conjugation in butadiene. the compound appears colorless because the absorption band is still not in visible region. Now, this example you will see that presence of double bond in conjugation lowers the requirement of energy, and that is why they fall in visible region. The conjugation of double bonds lowers the energy required for the electronic transition. The molecules having conjugated system absorb the radiations of longer wavelength than the molecules having non-conjugated systems. For example, if you compare ethene from that of butadiene, you know that ethene absorbs at 175 whereas butadiene at 217. As a result of conjugation, the pi bonding molecular orbitals of adjacent double bond interact with each other and form new bonding orbitals like pi x, pi 2x, etc. of different energies. Similarly, their anti-bonding orbitals of different energies are also formed. More the number of such conjugated double bonds in a molecule, more will be the bonding and anti-bonding orbitals, which in turn increase the transition of low energy and high wavelength. The absorption band for a molecule having 4 double bonds in conjugation is 290 nanometers. Here this is an example where this molecule has 4 double bonds in conjugation. This is first, second, third and fourth double bond, and they are separated by a single bond. So, there is delocalization possible. As a result, it is absorbed at 290 nanometers. Carotene, a naturally occurring yellow pigment, contains 11 double bonds in conjugation. As we are saying that conjugation increases color, carotene, since it has this 11 double bonds in conjugation, it shows yellow color. This is absorbed in blue region of visible light with lambda max of 455 nanometers. Due to the absorption of blue light from the white light falling on carotene, it appears yellow. If you remember in the earlier episode, we told you about the complementary colors, like the color which is absorbed by the substance or by the molecule present in the substance, and then the rest of the light which is reflected, and we see the reflected color, or that is also called the complementary color. So, in case of carotene, the blue light is absorbed, and that is why it appears yellow. You can see here, this is the molecule of carotene. There is extended conjugation in this molecule. It absorbs light in blue region and appears yellow to our eyes. We will now discuss the effect of conjugation in raising the wavelength of absorbed radiation, and it can be explained in compounds having benzenoid structure. Benzenoid structure means we have a benzene nucleus. Benzene has 6 pi electrons and its absorption takes place in the UV region at about 254 nanometers, hence it is colorless. Benzene, naphthalene and anthracene having 1, 2 and 3 benzene rings in a row are colorless. You can see this is benzene having 6 carbons and 6 pi electrons. Here it is naphthalene having 10 carbons and 10 pi electrons, and anthracene having 14 carbons and similarly 14 electrons. But even then, I mean, there is increase in conjugation, but even then they do not fall in the visible region of the light. In case of naphtacene, this is naphtacene where we have 4 benzene ring in a row, and in case of pentacene where we have 5 benzene ring in a row, the absorption approaches visible region, and that is why naphtacene is yellow in color whereas pentacene is blue in color. So, with these examples it becomes very easy that as the amount of conjugation increases in the molecule, the energy of light required for their excitation becomes less, and that is why they fall in the visible region of light, and then that is why they show color. We will take another example here. This is the example of graphite. If you remember, graphite is black in color, and graphite is nothing but the sheets of benzene ring in all direction. As you can see in this structure, these are all numerous benzenoid structures on all sides, and when we have this kind of delocalization or conjugation in the molecule, then the molecule absorbs all the colors of the light, and that is why it appears black. Now another example of azobenzene. Azobenzene is yellow in color. Azobenzene has this nitrogen-nitrogen double bond. This group is called azo group. Now this molecule is called azobenzene because here it has two phenyl groups in conjugation with nitrogen-nitrogen double bond. Now azo group acts as a delocalizing bridge between two benzene rings to form an extended delocalized system which act as chromophore, and that is why the molecule shows yellow in color. Another example here of cis and trans stilbene. Among cis and trans isomers of stilbene, the trans isomer is colored whereas the cis isomer is colorless. The reason is that in case of cis isomer, resonance is not possible because of steric hindrance, while in case of trans isomer, resonance is possible. You can see here, this is the example of trans stilbene and this is the example of cis stilbene. In case of cis stilbene, you can see that these two benzene rings are close to each other, or you can say that they are causing some steric hindrance to the molecule. As a result, even though you can see that all the double bonds are in conjugation, the delocalization or resonance is not possible. Whereas here in case of trans stilbene, the distance between the two large size benzene ring is good enough and delocalization is possible, and that is why it shows color. So trans stilbene is colorful whereas cis stilbene is colorless. Now to sum up this present day's lecture, we have actually discussed about the molecular orbital theory for color and chemical constitution. Before this molecular orbital theory, actually other theories like cunoid theory or Witt's theory or valence bond theory were also able to give explanation to many compounds showing color, but there were certain examples where it was difficult to explain that why the color was there. With the help of this molecular orbital, the picture becomes crystal clear, because we know that a molecule shows color because of electronic transition, and electronic transition are possible because of electrons present between the atoms in a molecule. Like if there is a pi bond, if there is a sigma bond, or if there are non-bonding electrons, they require different amounts of energy for their transition to next higher excited state, and when they come back they emit energy, or you can say they reflect the light which can be seen by our eyes. So it becomes very clear that a particular molecule will show color because of this particular structure. For example, if a molecule has only carbon-carbon single bond, then we can very easily say that the molecule cannot show color. But on the contrary, if it has carbon-carbon double bond, only one or two will not show color, but if their number increases from, say for example 11 or 13 or 15, then they can show color, because then delocalization is possible. Similarly, if a molecule has carbon nitrogen double bond, if a molecule has carbon chlorine bond or carbon sulfur double bond, then that kind of molecule can also show color, because then these heteroatoms having non-bonding electrons, they get excited to next higher state, and then they fall, the energy actually fall in the visible region and molecule shows color. So I think with the help of a number of examples like benzene, the benzenoid structure like naphthalene, pentacene or anthracene, or with the help of graphite, we are able to introduce the concept of color and chemical constitution associated with organic molecules. to you, and with these two lectures, like the earlier one and the present one, we have completed the topic of color and constitution, and in the next episode of synthetic dyes, we will take up certain dyes. We will actually discuss how they are prepared, I mean their synthesis, and why they show a particular color, what is there in their structure. See, what we have discussed here in the present lecture or in the earlier one, we are going to implement those things in the next two lectures. Thank you very much.